So you were blind for almost 17 years, and
Almost.
so how many of the grandkids did you see before you were blind?
I saw 4 of them, and of course the other 4 we didn't. But your mother kept pictures of all these children on the refrigerator. I felt their faces over the years. I had a general idea of what they looked like.
Physically felt it.
Physically, yeah. I guess at that time, we're talking about when it came back, it was the 28th of November today, or it is the 28th of November today. It was on the 29th when it came back 1 year ago tomorrow, but no one's counting except for me. And maybe a few other select people. When it came back, I was in the office. It was about 11:30 in that general time at night, and I was saying a prayer. It was a memorare, and I couldn't quite remember all the words to it, and I said something to the fact that I sure wish I could read this and be able to finish his prayer. And at that time, everything came back. I mean, it was vivid, as vivid a color as you could ever imagine, coming back. And it was like my eyes were really hurting, but it was like, wow, I can see everything around me, everything that I hadn't seen for 17 years. And your mother, I first said to her, I said, well, how good a teacher are you? And she's like, well, I don't know. I said, well, how about teaching me how to use a computer? And she's like, well, do you think you can see something? And I said, no, I know I can see something. I said, no, I can actually see everything around me. And she's like, well, hurry up, let's go, let's get out to the kitchen. You gotta see this. And we ran out to the kitchen. She did. I scurried with my canes. Got out to the kitchen, I'm looking at all these kids' faces on the refrigerator, and all my own children's faces on the refrigerators, and I'm like, wow, man, I could tell what you looked like, but you looked older. And then when I saw you in person, you really looked older because some of the pictures were old to begin with. And it was like, wow, I can't believe this. And the thing I noticed about it, though, was it was really great to see all the color, everything, but my eyes were hurting so bad. And they continued on for about a month after that, maybe a month and a half. And we tried to go to the doctor that weekend because it was right on the weekend. We couldn't get to the doctor, and he wasn't going to be in. I couldn't see him till the following Monday. Well, when I got into the doctor and he started checking my sight at that time, I'm getting ahead of myself. Anyhow, I was afraid to go to sleep that night. That's the part, because it's like, is it staying? Because when I lost it, it happened so many times. And anyhow,
Long night that night.
it did stay. And then I saw the doctor on that Monday. And he's like, let me dilate your eyes and this and that. So
Did he also check your?
Huh?
Did he check the record too? Like, who are you? Like,
Right, he's looking across the paper after each. Well, not that quick. He's dilating my eyes, and they asked me, "Well, okay, read this chart." And I read the chart. He looks in my eyes and checks them out and says, "Your optic nerves are completely in good shape, really good. You know, they're not white anymore, and because they had died before."
Same doctor who saw him the first
Same
time.
doctor who diagnosed everything
Which was what?
was Dr. Poon to begin with.
And what diagnosis was it?
He diagnosed the optic nerves as being dead. And this was 17 years previous to this. And anyhow, he looked at my eyes, he's looking at the chart like, "You are Tom Doerflein, right?" "Yeah." And it's like, wow. And he says, "Well, let's do the eye test now." That's after he told me the optic nerve is perfect, both of them. So we do the eye test, and I'm reading all the little letters for him and everything else, and he says, "You have 20/20 vision." I said, "I can do better than that. I can read the next two lines." He says, "Go for it." I did. He said, "You've got better than 20/20 vision. When I lost my vision, I was wearing trifocals." The optic nerves both went out at different times, one over a year ahead of the other.
You might have made it PG, but the way you told it to me was, the words you said though were, "Damn it, I wish I could see more clearly, or see this more clearly."
I did say that, but I didn't want to.
That's all right.
It sort of sounds sacrilegious to me to take what I consider a miracle and to have said that and still got my sight back.
Apparently God was listening.
Apparently, but I'm not taking any chances.
Got a lot of grace. A lot of grace. What did the doctor attribute it? Like did he say, "Well, medically, here's what happened"?
I said, "Well, how could that have happened?" He says, because he said the optic nerves do not regenerate. And I said, "Well, how could it have happened?" He says, "I wish I could take credit, but," and he pointed to the sky. So, he says, "That's the only thing I can figure." He says, "I don't know."
So here's a question I don't think I've ever asked you. So why do you think this happened? Like the whole thing. Why did it happen?
I think there was a reason for it. I think that he wants me to go around and help other people. I really do. Why it happened? Maybe it was I was an easy guy for this, and he really gave me a pretty easy way of adapting. When I look back at it, as far as the adaptation, it was like something was always put in front of me that caused me to adapt from one thing to another. As far as work, it's not been easy. I can't say it's been easy, but it's been an adaptation where it wasn't. I don't think it was just my plan of doing this or that. I think something was put in my path to make me go from one thing to another, and in that some way I'm supposed to teach people that when adversity happens, a helicopter. Round table. uh, I think it was that I was taught that so that I would know that it's not my path that I took, it was the one that was put in front of me that caused it to be round circle, just like the helicopter I was asking for.
And that path is from God.
And that path has been completed. I can see again. I can help other people learn that when something bad happens, it's not the end.
You're just blind.
That it's something where if you don't give up, there's hope. If you give up, I guess I may not be telling the story at this point. But I didn't give up, and somebody helped me make that round circle. It wasn't my doing. Physically, and maybe mentally, I was able to adapt with it, but everything to allow me to make that circle was put in front of me. And I think there's something to learn from that maybe we look too much at what we can do, and we don't look around at what's really happening for us. That would be my guess.
Well,
I just wish I knew a way that we could push this on to even more people to help them in their lives, because I'm really convinced that everything that's happened to me, there was a reason, and it was not my necessarily solving the problem. I didn't resist the things that came to me. Sometimes I didn't realize what came to me and how it came to me, or in which way it would work.
That's, you're a character and a big story.
And sometimes, I mean, it just looked like things were going to get worse, and really, sometimes when things happen to you, things get better. And as far as the work, I mean, my business is bigger today than it was when all this started. I would never have thought that would happen, but it happened because different things were put in front of me. And I think in a way, it's his way of saying, look, you know, you've got to try, but you got to follow also. You got to do things, and sometimes things are put in front of you that you don't even realize why. Maybe it's something that really looks like it's going to be a bad thing in your life, and it turns out to be a good thing. And that would be my thing. As far I still can't get over that helicopter. I mean,
so go back and tell about the helicopters, just like
the helicopter. Yeah. Okay, to go back about the helicopter. When I lost my sight, the last time I saw here, I heard helicopters, and it was when my sight was going out. And then today I come back here, I can see, and it's this late in the day, and here this helicopter goes flying by. I can't believe it. I couldn't have staged that if I tried.